Hello everyone and welcome. I am Floyd Richmond, former president of TIME, the organization that partners with NYSSMA to bring music technology sessions to New York. We are delighted to continue this partnership. It's a great relationship. We love the people at NYSSMA. Works out very well. Today we have Dr. Fred Kersten from Boston University, who is a remarkable presenter and has been very active in the field of music technology for many years. He is a performer, an amazing performer, organ performer, an amazing, well, I shouldn't give all your thunder away here. You're going to see some recordings of him playing and you'll be very pleased with what he does. So Fred will be talking to us today about how to build a hyper music CV for instant job application success. Oh, and since Mark is passing these blue things out, that's part of our time partnership as well. And we invite you to take as many as you would like.
That's right.
Give them to your friends. Give them to your neighbors. If anybody is from your school is here, carry them on to
Truly, because that ends the 2019 season, and all the sponsors are on there, and we can't reuse them after this trip. So seriously, take it.
Please join me in welcoming Dr. Fred Kersten.
Oh, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Floyd. It's so great to be part of that. 25 years, man, that's a long time. And it's been an outstanding organization. It's great to be part of, and also be aware of the levels of certification you can get through TIME. Okay, these are really important things to have, especially if you're starting to market yourself out into teaching. So one of the things I'm going to be talking about today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about building yourself an image online. And I'm going to try to give you an opportunity to think about how you look when you start to apply for a job interview. Because I think it's a very important aspect. I can't get you the job, folks, but what I can do is help you improve the image that you put out there. And I think it's very important because everybody is looking. You know, it's really unique because for the last 4 years I've been doing the mock interview programs with the College Music Society. We bring in associate deans, full professors, people who are interested in making their image better. We take their CV, we take their cover letter, we look at it, we give them mock interviews, and we try to give them ideas about making their image better as they apply for a gig. Now, it's really very unique because 3 years ago, here we are, got the committee and everybody's got the CV in hand, you know, for these individuals. And I walk in the room and everybody's got their hand held out, you know, looking at them up online, okay? No matter what they have on their CV, whatever, we want to see what they look like. I got to give you another example. I have a friend in New York State who's a New York State policeman. And one of the things he does is when he starts to look at a case, the first thing he does is goes up on Facebook and looks this person up. Okay, so it's very important, it's scary, but everybody is looking at you. I'm going to try to show you how you can work and make a cover letter hyperactive and the CV hyperactive so the person can see you immediately. Also, I'm going to talk a lot about the social media aspect. Watch out big time what you put up online. Another example, over the last 10 years I've been working with this topic. I've communicated with associate superintendents in the Human Resources Office, directors of music, and they have sent back some examples of people that they have seen online who are applying for jobs. I have one example who is very interesting. There's this very nice looking young lady by a poolside, nice bikini on. My principal would have loved her. It would be wonderful to our faculty. She has a drink in her hand, and so the guy's got an arm around her, and she looks a little tipsy. Now, needless to say, whether you like it or not, she didn't get the job. Okay? But the image that I'm portraying to you is what he showed me with some of the things that they see when they start looking. So when you're looking at putting your information up online, be careful. And if you want to do something for yourself, see what you got up there and start to look from a critical direction. Also going to show you how you can make a hyper document. I'm going to show you some free stuff that can get you up on the line. I'll give you some specific examples. And also I'm going to show you some portfolios that have been made that have obtained people's positions for them. And since this is a tech session, I'm also going to talk about the technology to use, audio, video, and my 3 words, think small, small, small. because you want to have the smallest files up there so they open up immediately so somebody is looking at you. So if you look in your handout, I've given you two handouts. One of them is an article that I published last year on this topic for Music Educators Journal. Okay, and I called it, as you'll notice, How to Get the Gig Acing an Online Music Education Job Application. If you do anything when you leave here and you want to get another position, look at my article. I don't have to sell it, it's been published already, okay? But for yourselves, look at some of the things, because some of the stuff in it, folks, is scarier than hell, okay? And let me give you an example. A study by Microsoft found that 70% of human resources recruiters in the United States indicated they rejected candidates for job positions because of reputation information they found online. Additionally, 79% of the U.S. recruiters indicated they received online information as part of the hiring process. That's scary because you spend all your time working on this wonderful beta and this wonderful resume and that, and somebody is going to look you up on Google, okay? And these people are individuals who are people who are working worldwide. These are HR people, the human resource people. They are looking at what the human resource people look at all over the world. For example, 4 countries: UK, 65%, Germany, 71%, France, 48%. French don't actually care what they do, actually, but as long as they pronounce it properly, okay? And the United States, 86% admitted that a positive online reputation had a definite impact on a candidate's application. You know, like it's a crime, but this is what they do. So be aware that this is, I think, a very, very important aspect to be able to look at. So, what can you do? Well, I've been communicating with Allison Doyle. She's a pretty neat young lady who is doing a lot of things with working with the online image and in terms of job applications. And she has some suggestions for working with Facebook. I don't like to use the word Facebook. I would rather use social media, because obviously other people involved more than just Facebook. There are things that people work and put up online. But as we start to get involved with this, look and see what she has to say, because she says Facebook or social media and business don't mate well. Okay? You find the decision to look at what you have up online, and you're going to go social or you're going to go more business. Because what you want to do is make sure that the business contacts or employers see what you have online, what you want them to see, and not what you want them to see. She says to create a simple profile, clean up your existing one, limit the photos you put up, put content relative to your job search or career. So I think this is a very important aspect to be able to look at. I'm a bug on cover letters. 5 years ago, I decided to see what people looked at me. And so I met with the committee. I brought in my resume, my cover letter, and the whole bit, and they looked me over and interviewed me. And one of the things that the lead person, who was a dean at that particular time, said to me, "You've got a 3-page cover letter, Fred. It's worthless to me, because I skim read. I got 20 applicants who were coming in. I want to see what you can do for me now." A very important statement when you are writing a cover letter. 1 page should suffice. So, let me give you an example. This is a job I applied. How many New York State music teachers here? Yay. Where are you ladies from?
Crane School of Music. Yeah, both student teaching. We're student teaching right now.
Oh, okay. In New York State, we have an organization called OLIS, Online Application System. Are you familiar with OLIS? Look it up, okay? Have you put stuff up on OLIS? Okay, cool. Do so. OLIS is a system that's worked through our BOCES in this state. And what they will do is allow you to build, you can put up your cover letter, you can put up references, you can put up transcripts, all these good things, and then you can get yourself published out. Well, anyway, I applied for this job. I'm not going to tell you the district, but it was the director of music in the K-12 position listed through OLIS. And so I applied, and son of a gun, they called me and wanted me to come out for an interview. Okay? But this is the way I developed this cover letter. Dear Mr. Samuelson, I am applying for the Director of Music position listed through OLIS. I am permanently New York State certified as a superintendent of schools. Link to my certification. Because certification as a public school music teacher is one of the most important things that you could show a district. Because what they are doing is they are screening out, many of the districts will use it as a criterion for getting rid of you as the number of people have. If they have 60 applicants, they will then cut out the people that have certification in hand because they have to have it. So when I applied for this job, I knew in New York State that I have to have certification as administrator. And so purposely, if you notice in the first sentence, I told them that I had a certification, and I gave a link to them as a hyperlink, and I showed it to them. There was no baloney that I have to take 10 credits more or all the other things that people send in, because they do, and I showed it to them. I also said that I had a certificate of advanced study of school administration, graduating from so many New Paltz, and so forth and so forth. Currently, I'm online music, blah, 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 blah. My current direction in working with online music education is nationally well documented. Visit my recognized work by NAFB. This district I know is very powerful in looking for NAFB people who work with our national organizations as well. So I had done a couple studies for them, as you noticed in the past, and I had published it out, Making Technology Instrumental and so forth. I also showed them that I was doing some things at the college level or the higher education level that I just presented for ATMI, College Music Society, in Anaheim, I mean in San Diego, and I had done some things on internet too and so forth. My purpose being with the links to show them that I had some type of literary background they could see immediately. Okay, you want them to see things immediately, especially if they've got 50 candidates. They want to see something that's right in hand. And then I said my current work and so forth and so forth. I have a thorough knowledge of the Nielsen domains and level of performance provided by the rubric you are using for evaluation. I looked at that district specifically to see what my job was to be. I would have been out evaluating music teachers. So that I knew that they were working with these Danielson domains. I showed them that I knew something about their job. I wasn't just writing a generic letter. Okay, so that's one thing I do. I've dispatched my oldest application folder and talking about future opportunities for the performance. And then I gave a link to my references. These references are non-confidential references, but I put a link there anyway. Because somebody is always going to be inquisitive. They see something about what somebody else says for you in that first couple paragraphs. Okay? So as you notice, what I've also done is I also talked about my teaching philosophy, and I also gave them an example of that so they could see what I had been done. And then one last thing I did for this job, I developed a specific web page for that position. And so they had information there. So within that one-page cover letter, folks, that you see, you know all about me right away. Okay? And the last thing I did, I gave them an example of what I did as a performer. And I did something like this. So without further ado, let's see what happens. And on and on, okay? And also I did within that segment, as a matter of fact, I did that segment right here. That's where we shot. But what I also did was I performed on an iPad, all right? So that was the type of thing. So you see what you could do within that one particular cover letter if you want to link out with it. Another thing you can do is make a dedicated web page for a specific job description. You can do it so simply. You don't have to have all the stuff that I'm giving for links, but you can take the page, and this is, for example, a page that I made for that one job that I just told you about. I call this Vital Public School Job Opportunity. Once I make the page, it takes me 5 to 10 minutes to redo it for another job. Okay, so you can take that cover letter that you make and you can customize it to the exact type of position you are applying for. So in this particular case, I included my Vita, Okay, so they would have a link to that, and then I put in an application letter. I could have an application letter if I want. I could have the current the references if I wanted to do that whole thing. Have those available. If I was applying for a K through 6, which is my area, elementary school vocal, I would probably show them that I had ORC certification. Okay, so that I would have that, it would be available, and then I would probably have an example of a transcript that would be available, and then also my philosophy. So you can do all these things. You don't have to have them all, but this could be part of your page. Tip: if you're going to work with the Vita or anything that is working with docx files, you want to save as PDF. Why? Because if you click on a docx file, they're going to get the file. They're not going to get a chance to see the use immediately up front. So that's something you do as you make your web pages. It's a very important thing. College gigs, if I apply for something like that, I might be looking at the type of curriculum that they have. Okay, so in this particular case, I applied for a world music a job at the Berry College. They were working with an opportunity to work with world music. I showed them what I could do. Okay, and you could do the same different things with other aspects. If I was working with an elementary school position, I was applying for them, I would probably get a link like this. So they get a chance to hear my kids. Okay, or if I play a little bit different type of recorder, so I might even see, it could be you if you're a clarinetist, trumpetist, whatever. I do play a little bit different type of instrument, so I might give them a classical example. Okay, so what you can do, you don't have to do all these things. You can make this specific to the job you are applying to. Several years ago, I did a study, and I did it through NAM, National Association of Music Merchants, and I thought it was sort of interesting because I sent out to various school districts throughout the country who were advertising music education jobs. And I asked a specific question. What is the most important suggestion you would give to a music education applicant to make the online application so attractive that you would say, wow, I will hire you? And I got back the following. Attention to the details we ask for required. Online presence of quality is helpful. Detrimental information on images on Facebook or other sites will be a hindrance. Make the applicant specific and relevant to the job situation. You've got to determine if you're going to be applied for 20 jobs or you're going to apply for 2. I used to be a 20-job applicant. You know, I apply, if I saw anything up there, I send out my resume too. Sometimes I got responses, sometimes I did not. But I work, if I apply for a gig, I'm looking for a more specific area. So this is something you might think about as you develop your philosophy. Outstanding examples of real teaching experience during student teaching segment of their career. I think this is very important if you're a student teacher going out. Many times you have to look and see and show what you have. And I'll show you some examples of people who have done that. Know the district you are applying to. Significant success of a teacher of music with prior experience. Clean, clear illustrations of what the person will be able to do in our district. The word O-U-R all the way through. Our district. Show me what you can do for us. Strong online presence through YouTube or ePortfolio. We can share this information quickly with our committee. Another direction is important because if you work with a search committee, there's 5 or 6 people. They don't have to all get together and have a meeting. If you can put something up online, they can immediately share back and forth. Philosophy document shows your teaching and thinking about how you would teach students. Another thing to do when you make your type of document, that you want to show them something that you can do with the kids, because sometimes you get so involved with telling them all the things that you have done that you don't realize they want to know what you can do for the kids. Strong videos on YouTube performance illustrate musicianship. A teaching or communicating type of video will be helpful. The new direction is videos, and I'm going to show you examples of what you can do with that. We are looking for technology backgrounds. Our students are deep in this area, respect teachers who can meet their needs and relate to them. I have had a number of people who have asked me to be part of our degree program at Boston University because they're after TIME certification. I had 3 people last year who asked because they want to get, because we offer that aspect. So it's very important. Technology is a biggie. I know one district in my area right now, outstanding district, that is now revitalizing their entire curriculum towards working with music technology. So the skills you get here at these meetings and things are really golden because they will help you as you start looking for a position. Type of responses you provide, your first contact with a search committee, files that are not too large and open up correctly. One of the most important things you can do is when you're sending your letter of recommendation out or your application out, have somebody else look at it. Because you never know what goes on this machine is not going to be the same thing on another machine. Okay, it is really very important to do. Developing application videos. I think this is sort of interesting because what's starting to happen now, if you have a chance to develop videos with an outstanding group, do them ahead of time. Because what you can do is clip out various videos, put them together, and show you doing various types of activities. And I mentioned that many employers are asking for it. I'll show you that in a second. Because what they are looking for in many cases are front shots of the facial and conducting research gestures that you will do. And I'll show you an example of that in just a second. So what you can do is you can make these videos ahead, especially if you're conducting some group that's outstanding, and then build your videos from there. So let me give you an example. This was an advertisement for a high school band job about 3 months ago. And this is specifically what they asked for. Develop a video or multiple videos totaling 20-30 minutes of recently recorded material demonstrating the candidate's rehearsal techniques. Applicants are expected to include either titles, video themselves, documents submitted, the dates of the performance, and the rehearsals. The majority of this footage should capture the conductor facing the camera. Applicant is responsible for ensuring that the videos are readily accessible, playback appropriately, regardless of computer platform, Mac, PC, or browser, Firefox, Chrome, and so forth and so forth. So let me show you what you can do with this. The gentleman that you're going to see is Trevor K. Aussie. He is a conductor, and he's got a great, strong presence online. He is conducting the Paoli Junior Senior Band in Texas. And you can make a video like this with your cell phone if you want. My suggestion would be to put it on some type of a tripod in the back of your group. But when he developed his video, he did his video on, first of all, warm-ups, which I thought was fantastic. Because if I want to see a band director, I want to see what he's going to do for ensemble. Okay, I mean, I'm a band person. So, and then he put in a woodsetting, okay, because he shows what he can do in working with the group, and then finally some type of performance. And he got an example that looks something like this. Identification. More identification, warm up. So you can see how you can do something like that, and it's very cool. I wanted to show you some examples of portfolios that you can make. Yes, ma'am?
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Because I'm in the school districts. Is it okay to show kids without, like, written permission?
That's one of the reasons.
Everything we have to...
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I love you. I love you dearly. Because you just hit a point that I could have I glossed over. One of the reasons that I like so much about Trevor's video is you didn't see any faces, did you?
No.
Okay, so that is, yes ma'am,
Thanks,
because
Tina.
very, very good reason for shooting from your face and with the camera from the rear, because that way you don't have to ask for permission to it all. Bravo, okay? She had a very good point, okay? And that's something you can do very, very neatly, okay? Penn State's got an interesting program because what they do is start the kids in their freshman year building an e-portfolio. So over a period of 4-year time, they have an opportunity to develop all types of artifacts, of things that they might want to show if they get out. And so they have that file available, ready to build for the opportunities for jobs. So let me give you 4 examples, which I think are really cool. This is one that's done by Allison. She's done it very beautifully, as you notice. She's got a very attractive young lady, and she shows herself welcoming you with the baton in hand. And then she has her resume. She's got other honors. She talks about her musicianship, her conducting, her teaching to various places, because she's obviously just about recently out of college. And student teaching, vocal health, and so forth. Mike has again built his site so nicely because, again, when you're showing this type of thing, you're showing what you can do not only as a musician, but the way you organize. Okay, and the way Mike has set his up, if you see, he's welcoming. Then he's got the Nittany Lion. Nittany Lions didn't do too well last time against Ohio State. I'm a Penn Stater, by the way. But we are going on to the Rose Bowl, as far as I know. Okay, so anyway, you can see how he sets up his site. Then he's got pictures of his kids and so forth. Then Kate does a really nice job on her webpage. She goes black and white on that. You see the way she's done that? It's really cool organization-wise. By the way, she powered it by Weebly. When I pulled the page down, I forgot to leave Weebly on. I'll show you that in a second anyway, Weebly. But the way she's done it so beautifully, and then the organization that's done. Weebly's a freebie. I'll talk about it in a second. And then Rachel starts out. She says, "My name is Rachel, and I am a certified teacher in music K through 12. Yes, lady, because you're saying to the people, I've got that certification in hand. And then she goes across the top and shows the various things that she's able to do. If you're going to work up online, putting up your image, web size your pictures. Everybody else want to talk about web size? Okay, cool. Premiere Elements Photoshop Elements 13 and up will have a web size feature, but you want the files small so they download quick. Stay away from gaudy colors and fonts. Put your portfolio URL in your resume and cover letter. We had 2 individuals who were part of our interview program in Louisville in October who came in. They had doctorates in hand, fantastic performers, and they had all types of wonderful stuff up on the internet. They had nothing on their Vita or on their cover letter. And it should have been there. They could put it in their heading, and that would give them an immediate image of what they can be able to do. How many people have worked with Composer? How many people have made web pages? Have you made web pages? What do you use?
I use Wix.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, bravo. Okay, I'll talk about Wix in a second. Okay, so use one online. There's a piece of software up online. It's called Composer. Okay, if you want to work with your web, it's a freebie. Okay, it's also dual platform. Okay, you can work on PC or a Mac side if you want. Export out to HTML5, which is cool, especially with the new direction towards the links that you're putting in for audio and video. It's WYSIWYG, okay? What you see is what you'll get, and but it is available. I've given you a link to that handout, so if you want to find out about it, it's in your information if you want to look at it. As you start to play with audio, the biggest thing is to get your files down to the smallest quality size. And the new direction is working with AAC. Anybody work AAC in here? Okay, Advanced Audio Coding. Okay, AAC is a new format. It's a lossy format, which is similar to MP3. It gives you better quality or a smaller size file. So you can take a file at MP3 at 5.7 megs and build it down to 300K if you want to go AAC on it. I do a lot of my stuff out of Logic, but I want to show you, I always export out 16K. Okay, and that's my bit ratio. You can go down to 8, okay, and you can get pretty good quality. But if you want to use the freebie, Audacity has just gone to 232. You work with Audacity? Okay, cool, great. Then I'm great. We've got techies in here. All right, fantastic. Audacity has just gone to 232. Okay, the older versions required you to download specific files before you could export out as MPEG-3. But the newest version of it that I just downloaded, and my students are going to be working with that next semester, allows you then to build down to MP3, then you can work M4A and AAC and all the various things that are there. Photos for the web. You got to web size your pictures. You want the smallest size possible. What I did, as you can see, I took the TIME logo, and that was at 311K. I put it through Elements, and I got it down to 17.7K. You notice there's not that much quality difference, and this will download now at 4 seconds, okay, which is really very important because of the size. How many people work with a YouTube channel? Okay, all right, great. You can build a YouTube channel. I've given you sites on that. That's another thing you can do with the YouTube channel. You can then work with the background. You can work with color schemes. You can do organizations. It's better than just putting up a specific URL for a video location. So you can build these things all together. So I decided to play with one for you. That's one that I built. I decided to use my header. Those are caladium pictures. I grow caladiums in the summer, okay? And so this, and I called myself F. You know, I've got another one, okay? But this is what I built for this presentation. But then you can do is lay in all your videos. And when you work with YouTube, you know, you can build an icon too, okay? They will ask you to give, you can use a picture or whatever else. So this is something you can do if you want to go that route. So, Wix, okay, here it is. Wix is really cool because what's happening with Wix now is they are going more audio and video oriented, which is really unique because then you can build your web page, you can get your own domain. Do you have your own domain? Okay, build your own domain. Okay, that's another thing to sell yourself with. Okay, mine is FredKersten.com. I didn't buy it to sell myself. Way back when I was at Penn State studying technology, I got going on this whole thing. You know, I was so insane about. They said I slept near the computer, which was not true. I had bed. But anyway, but you can make your own domain. Okay, and because that shows your image. Okay. Such and such a name. So you can work off Wix, and that is also available to you. Weebly is another one. Weebly is used quite a bit by people who are into the industry, small businesses, you know, if you want to sell your jackets or something like that. But these are the various things. They also have some freebie things that are available too. BU is using WordPress. WordPress is a very simple one. You can buy the GoPro and pay some money on it. My students make e-portfolios as part of their courses. Now, it was really exciting because 3 years ago, I had one student who was a high school band guy, and he made up his e-portfolio. He put up some of his own compositions. He applied for a college gig, and he got it. And he got it from the basis of what he did within our course. So I was glad. We'll have to charge him extra for that, you know, but build on his tuition from that. But anyway, WordPress is there too. I don't like WordPress the way their organization goes. Okay, I find it's very awkward, but that's my perception. I'm a Dreamweaver guy, and so that's my direction on it. Google Classroom, you can also be aware of Google Classroom. I decided to play with that. You can see I've got my mush on that. You can put videos up on Google Classroom. Google Classroom is becoming very strong, and I believe Floyd Richmond is going to, Dr. Richards is going to talk about that at one of the sessions, are you not?
Yes.
Great, it's because that is really upfront, cutting edge. They are doing so much with Google. There are so many new things that are happening with Google. It's semi-free. The public school people and the one-to-one guys are really doing big business with it. If you are going to process working with files on YouTube, I've given you some information to think about, because when you're making your files before they compress up and stream out with YouTube, you want to work with a specific file format. MPEG-4 is great because if you work with MPEG-4, export to MPEG-4, you can go across back and forth between if you're working with Final Cut Pro or Premiere or any of these other editing softwares, you can build off that. I have worked with MOV files and I don't like them. I've tried to move files up. I feel I've lost quality and compression. So that's my feeling. I've given you a site with that information on if you want to follow up on it. They are now recommending here, I thought was really cool, they recommend as your basis MP3 or AAC, really sort of the new direction going with that. LinkedIn, how many people have a LinkedIn site? Yay, okay. LinkedIn is another direction you could go. Same type of thing. You can then put up an image. You can put up the various things that you are doing. It's free, and then you can go pro if you want. I mean, everybody's got their hand into the till. But anyway, you can get involved in your career interests, and many people will look at you if you've got a LinkedIn site right away. It's another direction to be able to work with. Some other things, Canvas is out there. This, if you want to make an e-portfolio, you can build that freebie online. I've given you that site. And there's also an online CV builder. That's all information is all in my handout if you want. So I decided to play with that. Then what I can do then is I can develop my own resume online. I can have a header, as you can see. I can put up my picture. I put work experience. I decided to call myself an instrumental repair technician for this site. But then you can put up your education and all that other good stuff. It's another direction to go. And also you can work with templating. It will give you both CSS and HTML5 files. Again, I've given you that. If you want to build off that, you can get involved with that. So, the last thing I want to do is I want to talk about a cover letter. Okay, I'm going to be very mean because I want to get you to think about your cover letter. When you write a cover letter, you write it with your heart in your hand. Okay, you want the job. You want to tell them all these wonderful things you do. You don't realize that there's another person, guy or gal, on the other side who's going to read the thing. Okay? And some of them do not exactly like what you have to say. So let me give you an example of how you can spotlight your skills. This was a cover letter. I have changed the name and done. I've only given you a couple paragraphs because I'm down to 11 minutes. But anyway, this was for a position. It was addressed to Mr. Largo Ego, Assistant Superintendent of Personnel, the downtrodden school district in Slippery Snow, New York. Slippery Snow is down near Albany. We had 27 inches of snow 2 days ago down there. Come up to Rochester, it's like coming to Florida, you know. But anyway, dear Mr. Ego, this letter is to introduce myself. And I said, I know who you are. Your name is on the letter. And let me know if you're interested in the elementary school vocal position in downtrodden elementary school. And I said, says nothing. The attached resume file will furnish you with information concerning my overall employment, background, training, education, and skills. My work abilities are backed up with experience and knowledge. And I said, I never question your work abilities. Why is this statement necessary? I assure you that I can successfully fulfill any obligations required in each of my previous teaching positions. Duh, how many positions have you had? I have performed my assignment with a high degree of skills and professionalism. And I said, I never said you couldn't, not necessary. My current objective is to obtain a position that will fully utilize my skills and offer an opportunity for continued professional growth. And I said, is that why you're applying for the job? What about the kids? I believe in excellence and always dedicate myself to improving my talents. And I said, I sure hope so, so what? So anyway, let's take a look at this letter and let's do some different things. Now, I'm going to try to build it with some of the ideas that I've given you so far. Dear Mr. Ego, as an experienced New York State certified music specialist, what are you going to see from my link? My certification. There it is. Okay, in this particular case of applying for an elementary vocal job, I show my certification in New York in music. I'm pleased to apply for the elementary school vocal position at downtrodden. My 12 years of teaching elementary school music can pass tenure. Include link to a tenure letter if you have such. Tenure technology skills will bring to downtrodden adaptability, versatility immediately applied to the duties established. As I looked at the current music program at downtrodden, you looked at it. My certification in orphan technology, I would say if you got TMIE certification, show it, okay, because that's something that will impress you, impress them. We'll enhance your present curriculum revisions that include music technology support with your new lab. I invite you to listen to my elementary school chorus performance by looking here. You know what you're going to hear. My dedicated e-portfolio development specifically was located at fredkersten.com, and you're going to see that. Illustration of my teaching, you're going to see an example. Examples of my performance, you're going to see that, and support documents needed for the application. My reference letters, you know what you're going to see there, and then also my transcripts, I would probably given a transcript there, are all there. So you don't have to have all those links, folks. But what you could do is take that technology thing, give them 2 or 3 links that can show you what you can do. Okay, so this is what you can build from. So, the new direction. One thing, I didn't do a page on it, but it's very important. Letters of reference. New direction is with references. Many school districts in this state are now jobbing out the screening to a service. And what will happen is they will ask for your 3 references emails. What will happen is then automatically the computer will send out to those individuals a request for an original letter of recommendation. I hate it. We had a big conversation about this with a couple people in October at College Music Society. They should not do this. They'll come down to the final 5. Last year I did 4 letters. Okay, I had 4 requests for letters of recommendation. What I do, because my students are master's and doctoral students, and I'm very much into, I developed a block letter of recommendation. And then what I ask my kids to do, my students, is I ask them to give me some information that they would like spotlighted. And so that's the way I build it in. So when I get the automated version, then immediately what I can do is I can send something back. Okay, that's the way I work it. If you work with your references, make sure you tell them that you are asking them, or ask them to be their reference, because it's the most important thing to be done. Because some don't want to. Okay, they may give you an image that they will, but some don't. And it's a lot of work to be able to do it. So that's something to be aware of. Keyword analysis is something to be done now in business. What will happen is they will take your Vita, because it's in digital format, they will run a keyword search. Say they're looking for advertising people, they can spit out, if they get 60 applications, they can drop it down to 20. Okay, but that's something that's being done. You're not communicating with an individual in HR anymore, you're working with a computer. Okay, so that's something to be aware of. And so the last thing I want to show you is I want you to meet Vera.
My name is Jason. This is Vera, a robot that does Java.
What are the 3 top tips for a salesperson?
10,000 words. What looks like the future is already a reality. Hiring isn't only a revolution. Almost all Fortune 500 companies now use some form of automation. But many companies are also trying to look under the hood of job opportunities. And it's efficient in many ways. You're quantifying human behavior, human expression, human voices, turning that into data. We're now using artificial intelligence to help companies find the very best talent, and most likely you will be analyzed by an algorithm. How does that make you feel?
I feel like I would find hiring.
Experts call the proliferation of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science tools the Wild West of hiring. Critics, and even some hiring managers themselves, say they're concerned about these tools' potential for bias. They raise issues of fairness, transparency, and accuracy.
So has the government taken a look at these algorithms and figured out whether they are within the law?
Not yet.
Thank you for an interesting dialogue. Have a nice day.
Thanks. You have a nice day too.
So you can see what's starting to happen technology-wise in terms of the whole interview process. That is really getting a little bit scary. So I've given you a lot of information, folks. The handout is on Digital format is up online. They're giving you QR codes since you all have handouts. It's there. If you want to look at some of my sources, I've given you a ton of sources in that book and that thing. Get the digital version. That way you don't have to type in all hieroglyphics, you know, to get through the thing. But the information will help you if you start to get to a position. Also, if you wish to communicate with me, my email is there. I'll be most happy to answer any questions I have. So thank you very much for coming to my presentation.